My wife blocked me 5 days before girls' trip. Then the secret came out when her messages to another man spread through the family chat, and she lost everything she thought she controlled. Okay, so where do I even begin? I guess I should start by saying my name is Daniel, and until about a week ago, I thought I had a pretty damn good life. Married to Megan for 5 years, living in a cute little craftsman bungalow just outside of Austin, nestled in the shade of live oaks, and with a porch swing we spent countless evenings on, sipping iced tea and watching the fireflies. We'd bought it 2 years ago, a fixer-upper. We'd poured our hearts and souls, and a considerable amount of sweat equity, into renovating. The pale yellow walls of the living room were adorned with photos of us, hiking in Big Bend, laughing at a comedy show, snuggled up by the fireplace on Christmas morning. We've got 2 dogs, a goofy golden retriever named Gus, and a spirited terrier mix we rescued named Luna. Yeah, they're spoiled rotten, sleeping on our bed and getting more treats than they probably should. I swear Gus understands more than he lets on. We both have decent jobs. I'm a software developer, constantly surrounded by screens and code, and Megan's a graphic designer, filling her days with vibrant colors and creative projects. We'd talk about kids eventually, picturing tiny feet padding down the hallway and crayon masterpieces on the fridge, but for now, we were happy with our furry little family. We had our routines, our inside jokes. She'd always tease me about my obsession with spicy salsa, and I'd feign horror at her love for reality TV. Our Friday night pizza and movie nights, curled up on the couch with Gus snoring softly at our feet. You know, the whole 9 yards. We even had one of those cheesy love, laugh, love signs in our kitchen, a gift from Megan's mom, which, looking back, is pretty ironic. I mean, I genuinely thought we were happy, the kind of happy that felt comfortable and familiar, like a well-worn pair of jeans. We'd go hiking in the Greenbelt on weekends, the scent of cedar and damp earth filling our lungs, have BBQs with friends in our backyard, the air thick with the smell of smoke and laughter, even took a trip to Hawaii last year, the warm sand between our toes and the sound of the waves a constant lullaby. Everything looked perfect from the outside. We were that couple, the one everyone thought would make it. Hell, I thought we would make it. We'd even started talking about renewing our vows on our 10th anniversary, a small ceremony on the beach with just close friends and family. I'd already started brainstorming ideas, imagining Megan's radiant smile as I reaffirmed my love for her. Then there was this girls' trip Megan was planning. Her and her 2 best friends from college, Sarah and Jessica, were going to Miami. They'd been talking about it for months. Beach, cocktails, clubbing, the whole shebang. Megan was practically buzzing with excitement, a constant sparkle in her eyes. She'd show me pictures of Art Deco hotels on South Beach, talk about the Cuban restaurants they wanted to try, the rooftop bars with panoramic ocean views, and spend hours online shopping for new bikinis, modeling them for me with a playful twirl and a mischievous grin. It was supposed to be a long weekend, leaving the Thursday before Memorial Day and getting back Sunday night. I even offered to drive her to the airport, which, honestly, I hate doing because the Austin airport is a nightmare of traffic and construction. But I wanted to be supportive. I remember her hugging me tight, her head resting on my chest and saying, "Thanks, babe, you're the best." She seemed so happy, and I loved seeing her like that. It filled me with a warm, fuzzy feeling, a sense of contentment that radiated through me. I remember thinking how lucky I was to have her, how our life together was everything I'd ever wanted. We even talked about doing a couples trip later in the summer, maybe somewhere in the Colorado mountains, hiking through aspen groves and breathing in the crisp mountain air. God, I feel like such an idiot now, remembering the way my chest swelled with anticipation, the way my hand instinctively reached for hers across the dinner table. The future stretched out before us, full of promise and shared adventures. Or so I thought. Looking back, there were definitely cracks in the facade, tiny fissures I'd foolishly dism. Is this stress, or just normal relationship ebbs and flows? I mean, no marriage is perfect, right? But these weren't the usual little disagreements about whose turn it was to do the dishes or who left the toilet seat up. This was different. It was subtle at first, almost imperceptible, like a low hum in the background that you only notice when everything else goes quiet. She started working late more often, her design deadlines suddenly becoming more demanding, her phone glued to her hand even when we were supposed to be having dinner together. I'd catch her staring blankly at the screen, a strange, almost vacant expression on her face, and when I'd ask who she was texting, she'd just shrug and mumble something about a work group chat. Her phone was constantly buzzing with notifications, but she'd quickly flip it over, shielding the screen from my view. It was like she had a secret life unfolding in that little rectangle. A life I wasn't privy to. We used to talk for hours, sharing every detail of our day, from the annoying coworker to the funny dog video we saw online. But lately, our conversations felt strained. One-word answers, forced smiles, a general lack of enthusiasm. I'd try to engage her, asking about her day, her projects, anything to spark a connection, but it was like talking to a brick wall. The light in her eyes, the one that used to shine so brightly when she talked about her work, her passions, even me, seemed to have dimmed, replaced by a dull, almost listless gaze. The physical intimacy, well, that had dwindled too. Our usual goodnight kisses became quick pecks on the cheek. Cuddles on the couch were replaced by her scrolling endlessly through Instagram. I tried to initiate things a few times, hoping to rekindle the spark. But she'd always have an excuse. A headache, an early meeting, sheer exhaustion. The rejection stung. A dull ache in my chest that I tried to ignore, telling myself she was just stressed, that things would go back to normal soon. There were a few arguments, too, more frequent and more intense than usual. Little things would set her off. A misplaced remote, a forgotten errand, even the way I loaded the dishwasher. It was like she was constantly on edge, a tightly wound spring ready to snap at any moment. One night, we were having dinner with friends, and she snapped at me for something completely trivial. I'd accidentally spilled some water on the table. Her reaction was so disproportionate to the offense, so sharp and cutting, that it left me speechless. Our friends looked at us awkwardly, the cheerful chatter around the table dying down to an uncomfortable silence. Later that night, after our friends had left, I tried to talk to her about it, but she just brushed me off, saying I was being too sensitive. The fight ended with her storming off to bed, leaving me alone in the living room, the remnants of our unfinished dinner sitting cold on the table. I remember standing there, staring at the empty chairs, a knot of anxiety twisting in my gut. Something was definitely wrong, I just didn't know what. It was a Tuesday morning, 5 days before Megan's supposed departure for Miami. I was at work, hunched over my computer, wrestling with a particularly nasty bug in the code, when my phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from Megan, but not on our usual texting thread. This one was through Instagram. Odd. We rarely used Instagram to communicate, preferring the ease and immediacy of texting. My heart skipped a beat, a strange premonition washing over me. I clicked on the notification, my fingers trembling slightly. "Hey," the message read, "need some space, don't contact me for a few days, talk later." Talk later? What the hell did that even mean? My stomach dropped. Space? 5 days before her trip? The message hung there, stark and cold, on the bright screen of my phone. I stared at it, rereading it several times, as if the words might magically rearrange themselves into something that made sense. My mind raced, trying to decipher the cryptic message. Had I done something wrong? Had we had a fight that I'd somehow forgotten? My memory frantically replayed the last few days, searching for any clue, any hint of an argument, a disagreement, anything that could explain this sudden need for space. But there was nothing. Just the uncomfortable silence and distance that had settled between us like a thick fog. I tried to reply to her message, my thumbs hovering over the keyboard, but the message wouldn't send. A small, red exclamation mark appeared next to it. Confused, I tried again, and then again, each failed attempt sending a fresh wave of panic through me. That's when it hit me. She'd blocked me. My own wife had blocked me on Instagram. 5 days before her trip. The realization hit me like a physical blow, the air knocked out of my lungs. I felt a burning sensation in my chest, a mixture of confusion, hurt, and a growing sense of dread. I sat there, frozen in my chair, staring blankly at the screen. The office around me faded into a blur of noise and movement, the clicking of keyboards, and the murmur of conversations becoming a distant hum. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me, the room spinning slightly. My hands were clammy, my heart pounding in my chest like a trapped bird. Blocked. The word echoed in my mind, a sharp, painful refrain. It felt so final, so cold, so unlike the woman I thought I knew. The woman who, just a few days ago, had been excitedly showing me pictures of Miami beaches and modeling new bikinis. The woman who had hugged me tight and said, "You're the best." What the hell had happened? My first instinct was to call her, to demand an explanation, to scream, to cry, to do something, anything, to break through the wall of silence she'd erected between us. But my hand froze over the phone. What if she didn't answer? What if she picked up and just hung up on me? The thought sent a shiver down my spine. The humiliation was almost unbearable, being blocked by your own wife. It felt like a public declaration of rejection, a scarlet letter branded onto my digital forehead. I could practically feel the imaginary eyes of everyone I knew, our friends, our families, even complete strangers, judging me, whispering behind my back. The confusion was even worse than the humiliation. My mind was a whirlwind of questions, each one more frantic than the last. What had I done? Was there someone else? Had she been unhappy for a long time and I'd just been too oblivious to notice? The thought gnawed at me, a persistent, insidious doubt that burrowed deep into my gut. Had I been living a lie? Had our entire relationship, our life together, been a carefully constructed illusion, a facade masking some deeper, darker truth? I paced back and forth in my office, my phone clutched in my hand, the smooth, cool surface, a small comfort in the chaos that was swirling inside me. Should I call her friends? Sarah and Jessica. They were supposed to be going on this trip with her. Surely they knew something. But what if they didn't? What if they knew and were in on it, whatever it was? The thought of confronting them, of exposing my vulnerability, of potentially being met with pity or, even worse, judgment, made me recoil. I couldn't handle that. Not yet. I briefly considered driving home, confronting her face to face. The image of her, standing in our living room, the pale yellow walls suddenly feeling suffocating, the framed photos of us mocking my naive belief in our happiness, flashed through my mind. But what if she wasn't there? What if she was already gone? The thought sent a jolt of fear through me. Where would she go? Who would she be with? I sank back into my chair, my head in my hands, the weight of the unknown pressing down on me, crushing me under its immense pressure. The office, normally a place of bustling activity, felt eerily silent, the rhythmic tapping of keyboards and the hushed phone conversations fading into the background. I felt completely isolated, adrift in a sea of uncertainty, the familiar landmarks of my life, my wife, my home, my future, disappearing into the fog. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to. I was completely and utterly lost. The carefully constructed world I thought I knew, the world of shared dreams and comfortable routines, had crumbled around me, leaving me standing amidst the ruins, alone and bewildered. I just sat there, numb, the hum of the computer, a dull drone in the silence, the Instagram block notification burning a hole in my screen, a stark reminder of the gaping chasm that had suddenly opened up in my life. We have a family group chat on Facebook, you know the type, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, the whole shebang. It's usually filled with the typical family stuff. Birthday wishes, holiday greetings, the OCC. Asianal baby photo, updates on Aunt Carol's prize-winning zucchini. Mostly harmless, Mostly ignored. I usually just scroll past, only chiming in when absolutely necessary. It's not that I don't love my family. It's just, well, you know how family group chats can be. A breeding ground for passive-aggressive comments and unsolicited advice. I was still reeling from the block, my stomach churning with anxiety, when my phone buzzed with a new message notification. It was from the family group chat. I almost ignored it, figuring it was just another chain message about some miracle cure for arthritis or a political rant from Uncle Jerry, but something made me click on it. Maybe it was morbid curiosity. Maybe it was a subconscious hope for a distraction, anything to take my mind off the gnawing uncertainty that was eating me alive. And that's when it happened. The truth bomb exploded right there in the middle of my phone screen in 140 characters or less. It turns out Megan hadn't just blocked me on Instagram. She'd also forgotten to log out of her account on her iPad, which she'd left at home, synced to the family chat. And as fate, or maybe just shitty Wi-Fi would have it, her messages started popping up in the group chat. Messages not meant for my eyes, messages not meant for anyone's eyes except the person she was sending them to, messages that revealed everything. Miss you already, one message read, followed by a string of heart emojis. Can't wait for Miami, just us, finally. My blood ran cold. Us? Finally? What the hell was going on? My heart pounded in my chest, a frantic drumbeat against my ribs. Then came the name, a name I recognized. Mark fucking Harrison. Married. 2 kids. Our neighbor. The guy we had over for BBQs. The guy whose kids played with our dogs. The guy the first considered a friend. The guy whose wife, Lisa, was also in the family group chat. The messages kept coming, each one a dagger twisting into my gut. Details about their secret rendezvous, their plans for Miami, their shared disgust for me. He'll never suspect a thing, Megan had written. He's so clueless. The words seared themselves into my brain, each one a brand of shame and humiliation. The chat exploded. A cacophony of shocked gasps, angry exclamations, and confused questions filled the screen. My aunts were horrified. My uncles were furious. My cousins were sending strings of emojis that I couldn't even decipher. My mom called me immediately, her voice trembling with a mixture of anger and concern. Daniel, honey, are you okay? What is going on? I couldn't speak. I just sat there, numb, my phone clutched in my hand, the messages scrolling past in a blur of betrayal and disbelief. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion, the inevitable collision unfolding before my eyes, and I was powerless to stop it. Then Lisa chimed in. Her messages were short, sharp, and filled with a raw, visceral rage that made me flinch. Megan, she wrote, you're a fucking whore, followed by, Mark, you're dead to me. The silence that followed was deafening. The entire family, dozens of people, were witnessing the implosion of 2 marriages in real time, the fallout from Megan's infidelity playing out in the most public of forums. Some family members tried to defend Megan, saying it was a mistake, that everyone deserves a second chance. Others urged me to stay quiet, to handle things privately, to protect Megan's reputation, and, by extension, the family's. The pressure to protect her, even after she'd so publicly and cruelly betrayed me, was immense. It felt like everyone was watching me, waiting for my reaction, judging my every move. Mark's reaction was explosive. He apparently saw the messages before Lisa did, and his response was immediate and brutal. He posted screenshots of the conversation in the group chat, along with a scathing message directed at both Megan and his wife. He called them liars, cheaters, and a few other choice words I won't repeat here. He then proceeded to detail their affair, sharing intimate details that made me want to vomit. The chat was a dumpster fire, a chaotic mess of accusations, denials, and recriminations. My phone buzzed incessantly with notifications, the constant vibration, a physical manifestation of the anxiety that was tearing me apart. I sat there, watching the carnage unfold, the truth laid bare for all to see. A part of me felt a strange, NSE of relief. The agonizing uncertainty was gone, replaced by a cold, hard reality. But the relief was quickly overshadowed by a wave of anger, a burning rage that coursed through my veins. How could she do this to me? To us? To our families? To her supposed friends? The questions swirled in my mind, a relentless torrent of pain and confusion. And yet, beneath the anger and the hurt, I felt a flicker of sadness. Sadness for what we had, or what I thought we had. Sadness for the future we'd planned, the future that now lay in ruins, the future I'd so foolishly believed in. The dust has settled, sort of. It's been a few days since the incident. The family group chat has gone eerily quiet, the fiery explosion of accusations and recriminations replaced by a tense, fragile silence. It's like everyone's holding their breath, waiting for the next bomb to drop. My phone still buzzes occasionally, but now it's mostly concerned. Relatives checking in, their voices hushed and hesitant, like they're afraid to say the wrong thing. I appreciate their concern, I really do, but honestly, I just want to be left alone. I want to crawl into a hole and disappear. The truth is out. That's what I kept telling myself in the immediate aftermath. It's out. Over. Done. No more wondering, no more agonizing over unanswered questions. No more second-guessing every word, every look, every touch. And yeah, there's a twisted kind of relief in that. Like finally ripping off a Band-Aid, a sharp, stinging pain followed by a dull ache. The relief is there, but it's overshadowed by the raw, exposed wound. But alongside the relief, the anger simmers, a low, constant burn in my gut. It comes in waves, sometimes a sudden, overwhelming surge of rage that makes me want to punch a wall, sometimes a slow, insidious, simmering resentment that poisons every thought, every memory. I see her face everywhere, in the photos on the wall, in the reflection in the bathroom mirror, even in the damn live, laugh, love sign in the kitchen. Each image is a fresh stab of betrayal, a reminder of the life we had, the life she so carelessly threw away. How could she do this? The question echoes in my mind, a relentless, agonizing refrain. The betrayal is so deep, so profound, that it feels like a physical violation, a tearing apart of something sacred. And then there's the sadness, a deep, aching sadness that settles in my chest, a heavy weight that makes it hard to breathe. I mourn the loss of what we had, or what I thought we had, the easy laughter, the shared jokes, the comfortable silences. The lazy Sunday mornings spent drinking coffee in bed, the impromptu dance parties in the kitchen, the quiet evenings on the porch swing, watching the fireflies dance in the twilight. Those memories, once a source of comfort and joy, are now tainted, poisoned by the knowledge of her deception. They're like shards of glass, beautiful and sparkling, but sharp and painful to the touch. But here's the thing that's really messing with me, the thing that keeps me up at night, staring at the ceiling, the shadows of the live oak branches dancing on the walls. The doubt. Did I do the right thing by letting things unfold the way they did? Should I have intervened? Should I have stopped the messages from spreading? Deleted them before anyone else saw them? Protected her, even after everything she'd done? People keep telling me it's karma, that she got what she deserved, that I shouldn't feel guilty, that she brought this on herself. And, logically, I know they're right. She made her bed, now she has to lie in it. But there's a nagging voice in the back of my head, a whisper of doubt that refuses to be silenced. Was it really karma, or did I play a role in her downfall? By not intervening, by passively watching the carnage unfold, did I become complicit in her public humiliation? I keep replaying the scene in my head, the messages popping up in the group chat, the shocked reactions of my family, the raw, visceral anger of Lisa. I could have stopped it. I could have logged Megan out of her account, deleted the messages, pretended it never happened. But I didn't. I froze. I watched. And now I'm left wondering if my inaction was just as much of a betrayal as her affair. Did I let my hurt and anger get the better of me? Did I allow the flames of her destruction to burn unchecked, fueled by my own pain and resentment? It's a twisted, mess of emotions, and I'm drowning in it. I don't know what's right anymore. I don't know what's wrong. All I know is that I'm hurting, and I'm confused, and I'm starting to question everything, even myself. Megan got back from her girls' trip, or I guess I should say, she got back from wherever the hell she was 2 days ago. She didn't come home, of course. She went to her mom's. I haven't spoken to her directly, haven't seen her. All communication has been through lawyers. Cold, impersonal emails about dividing our assets, the house, the dogs. It feels surreal, like I'm watching a bad movie of someone else's life. The house feels empty without her, even with Gus and Luna constantly underfoot, their big, sad eyes mirroring my own. The silence is deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards or the rustling of the live oak branches against the windows. I keep expecting to hear her laughter echoing from the kitchen, the clatter of her coffee mug against the counter, the soft padding of her footsteps on the stairs. But there's nothing, just the hollow echo of my own footsteps, a constant reminder of her absence. The family drama continues to rage. My mom calls every day, trying to be supportive, offering to bring over casseroles and unsolicited advice. Her voice is still laced with anger, but now there's a layer of sadness too. She loved Megan. We all did. It's like a death in the family, only instead of mourning someone who's gone, we're mourning the loss of someone who's still here, but who we no longer recognize. My sister, on the other hand, is furious. She's taken on the role of my protector, fiercely defending me to anyone who will listen, her voice sharp and cutting, like a honed blade. She wants me to burn all of Megan's belongings, change the locks, erase every trace of her existence from my life. A part of me, a small, vengeful part, wants to do just that. But another part of me, the part that still remembers the woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, hesitates. The divorce is moving forward, a slow, agonizing process that feels like peeling off a scab, the wound underneath raw and exposed. The house is on the market. The thought of strangers walking through our home, touching our things, commenting on the paint colors we chose together, the garden we planted, the porch swing we spent so many evenings on, fills me with a deep, visceral unease. It feels like a violation, a final desecration of the life we built together. We're dividing our belongings, a process that feels both absurd and heartbreaking. Who gets the couch? Who gets the coffee maker? Who gets Gus and Luna? The thought of separating them, of breaking up our little furry family, brings tears to my eyes. They're the only constants left in my life, the only reminders of a time when things felt normal. And then there's Mark and Lisa. Their implosion was even more spectacular than ours. Lisa kicked him out, changed the locks, and hired a lawyer who, according to the family grapevine, is sharpening her knives and preparing to flay him alive. He's living in a crappy apartment on the other side of town, his reputation in tatters, his life in shambles. I haven't spoken to him. I don't know if I ever want to. The sight of his face, the sound of his voice, would be a constant reminder of Megan's betrayal, a physical embodiment of the pain that still gnaws at me. So here I am, picking up the pieces of my shattered life, trying to make sense of the wreckage, trying to figure out what went wrong, where I went wrong. Was I blind? Naive? Stupid? Probably all of the above. I keep going back over everything, searching for clues, for signs that I missed, for some explanation, some justification for her actions. But there's nothing. Just the slow, insidious erosion of our relationship, the gradual dimming of the light, the growing distance between us. And that's what brings me here, to this anonymous corner of the internet, to confess my story, to ask the question that's been haunting me since that fateful day when the truth bomb exploded in the family group chat, AITA. Am I the asshole? Did I do the wrong thing by not stopping the messages from spreading? Was it my responsibility to protect her, even after she so publicly and cruelly betrayed me? Was it karma, or did I, through my inaction, become an accomplice to her downfall? Did she bring this on herself, or did I go too far by letting the chips fall where they may? I need an outside perspective. I need to know if I'm the villain in this story, or just another casualty of a war. One didn't even know I was fighting. Tell me, Reddit, AITA?